is Oshodi, one of the areas in Lagos State. Hello there and a warm welcome to this week's edition of Super I on Super Screen UHF 45. I am Adenike Uweye Ajiboye. Yes, today we want to look at a very critical issue in our society. And as you know, Super I brings its searchlight on the ills of our society. So today, we want to look at the state of Nigeria's insecurity. Now, basically, a lot of killings have been happening in the country. You want to talk about the herdsmen-farmers crisis, which has led to different killings across the country. But of course, most prominent in the northern or northeastern part of the country. But one thing that I know, which I believe is still a major challenge, and many people are not looking at, is some kind of problem from the root, a grassroots. And now I'm talking about cultism. The rate at which cultism has increased or is even increasing in the country is alarming. I want to tell you, street cultism is everywhere. And many people just close their eyes and act as if they don't know these things happen, but I tell you, this is happening in our society. Now today on Super I, we want to look at a very young girl at 20 who confessed to the police that she is a professional assassin. How true this is what you're going to find out now from this report. So to discuss the issue with me today, I have a security expert, but I'm going to introduce my security expert after this particular report. So I want you to sit back, relax, fasten your belt, and take a listen to this report where the young lady confessed to being a professional assassin. This is 20 years old Miriam Abiola, a secondary school dropout who ran away from school in Lafewa, Abeokuta, the same location of her home, straight to Lagos State in search of a greener pasture.
I am Abiola. I am 20 years old. I came from Abeokuta. In Lafewa side.
Okay, where do you live?
I live at Ilasamaja.
This young girl unluckily fell into the hand of one Mr. Sadiq, who promised and eventually gave her shelter in Ilasamaja, a solo area.
It's when I go to Ilasa, I know Brother Sadiq. After I know Brother Sadiq now took me to their place. After that, Brother Sadiq started giving me gun. To go and be killing someone. Tabat fẹ́ lọ sí operation yẹn, ọ̀dọ̀ọ̀dọ̀ Abalawo yẹn lọ máa kọ́ lọ so wọ́n máa fún wa ní nǹkan tí tabati wọlé la máa fi ṣẹ́ tán wọ́n ní rí wa, la máa fi ṣẹ́ tán, la máa fi bọ́ta.
Miriam also confessed to killing 4 persons for a token of 10,000 naira each.
When we kill the person and come back, they used to give us our money. 10,000 they used to give me. They used to give the second people 20,000. I've killed about 4 people now.
How?
But as Sadiq used to give us gun, she will not give us the person picture. That we are going to go and kill the person. It's not only me, we are taking the 2 persons have won away. It's only me that they cash.
Addressing journalists on the issue, the Commissioner of Police Lagos State, Imokimi Edgar, advised parents to be more sensitive and monitor their children.
She further reveals that she is under oath administered to her by our herbalist, Adio Ogunremi, who is also being paraded here today. They all work for the bloodthirsty cultist Sodiq Ayewumi, already in police nets. She also revealed that the box of arms was given to her by one Wasiu, who is now on the run.
Like they say, success has so many friends, while failure has none. As it stands, Miriam's parents are yet to come out to identify with her. It remains to be seen what the fate of this young girl would be. Only time. Well, of course, only time will tell. Well, that is the story of Miriam, who has confessed that she is a professional assassin, and you've heard it yourself. And now to discuss this issue with me, I have my special guest. He is the chairman of American Society for Industrial Security Assays in Lagos State. I'm talking about Seyi Adetairo. Many thanks, Seyi, for coming on Super Eye.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
All right, I must say, I know how it is a weekend getting people here. So when I say guests, quality guests, I'm always very happy. So Seyi, you can see, that's a young girl at 20 years confessing to killing 4 persons. What do you make out of this girl's story?
I think it's important that we first of all try and situate the problem, where this is coming from. You see, people do not start committing crime all of a sudden. There must be a background to how they develop or they grew to become who they are today. If you paying attention to what she was saying that she left Abeokuta to Lagos. The question is, why did she leave Abeokuta in the first instance? What was the situation in Abeokuta that made her to flee? Kids like that are always victim of abuse.
Victim of abuse.
Of violence.
Okay.
Now, growing up, all what they've known all their life is violence and abuse. And I think that is what she's trying to run away from. Unfortunately, she ran into a bigger abuse and violence in the person of the Sodiq. I want to believe that when she got to Lagos, she was homeless, she was looking for somebody. A guy saw a vulnerable young girl and decided to take advantage of her. If you look at the way she was speaking, you see that this girl is not actually normal.
Because she's she's not even remorseful of her action.
Yeah, and that will explain the psychological state that she is. You see, people that are been victim of abuse tends to become abusive, and when you now add drug and alcohol into it, the chance that they'll be highly violent will be high, and that is what we've seen in the case of this young lady. The way she, you would notice that she must have been been exposed to drug. It may not be the cocaine, kind of drug, but all those mixtures that they sell now, that, all these, so that there are cheap ones like tramadol, codeine, and the rest that they try to put together. Now, psychologists will tell you that somebody that is having a psychological problem, when there is comorbidity with drug or alcohol, then the chance that the person will be violent, become a psychopath. Or when somebody, psychopathological, psychological level for such a person like this. Now, she wasn't killing for the money. She was killing for the fun of it, for prestige. Because if she's to kill for money, they cannot be giving her 5,000.
10,000. She said 10,000. Is annoying.
So she was trying to feel among a group that she finds to be the best thing that can ever happen to her. She's trying to build herself to climb the ladder within the group, to be seen as efficient, to be seen as effective, to be seen as dependable member of that group. So if you look at it now, what she's trying to do, what she did was not because she wants to just kill people. Even the people she killed, she doesn't even know who they are. She didn't even have enough time to even ask, what is your name? But she had to do that because
she needs to be engaged.
Yeah, she wants to be accepted. She needs the group to accept her. She needs acceptability. Now, that's to say that such a person must have lived a life of rejection. She needs comfort, she needs love, she needs people, she needs to feel among people. And she has not been able to experience that.
Okay, are you now saying that most likely she ran away from home maybe because there's no love in her house?
No love, obviously. You will not run away from where you are loved, where you are being taken care of. So she ran away looking for comfort. Now she found a group, even though they are bad groups, but they've shown her, they've given her shelter, they've shown love, they've shown her what her home people could not give to her, even though they were directing her in the wrong direction. But for every time she goes, they allow her to go with them, to her is acceptability. Every time they give her opportunity for her to show her capability, what she's capable of doing, she sees that as promotion, as seen as being ingrained in the group and gaining respect. So if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of need, you see the basic thing is the human physiological need. Right. You see, it is basic, it is important. If you take that away, there's no how the individual can graduate to other level.
Exactly.
So she needs that. She needs love. She needs comfort. She needs food, shelter, water, basic things of life which she could not get here. So those people were able to provide that
for her. All right, because she actually confessed to that. Said she's met with one brother, Sadiq. Yeah. So it's the Sadiq that now introduced her. But now let's look at cultism really in Nigeria, because from what she was saying, she said the Sadiq is in one particular confraternity group, which she called Aye.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Aye. Yeah, she said Aye.
I think it's just Aye or Aye.
Aye, one of it anyway. So she was taking to that cultism group and initiated into becoming what she is. What do you think about the growing spate of cultism in Nigeria?
Okay, I must say this. I did quite a lot of work on this even while I was with the Department of State Service, and I remember that I raised this as a major issue as to the challenges that secret cultism is going to bring to us. It has assumed a major dimension now that we are actually not appreciating the level of the enormity, because we have the herdsmen killing and the rest going on now. So it's actually masking the problem, because I'll tell you, it has gone beyond what we experience on campuses. Let me just give you genesis of this. Apart from the kind of cultism that you see operating in Niger Delta, what is operating here is entirely different. We had a situation whereby some people were rusticated on campuses, especially campuses in Ogun State and Oyo State. So they were rusticated and they moved back to their community. But because they are cultists then, they began to form groups within the city. So cultists, secret cult used to be,
campuses.
Domiciled on campuses. So those people, because they are no longer bona fide students of those schools, but they are capon of the group. So they decided to start like the creating nests in communities like Shagamu, in Abeokuta, in Djibouti, in those days. I'm talking about, about 15, 18 years ago, let's say about about 22 years ago. That's between 1995 and 1996. Okay. And then it started towards the year 2002. It became a major issue in Ogun State that they were just killing themselves. So when those people started creating their own groups, as in kind of a branch in the town, they started recruiting people that are yet to get admitted to campus. So you see, we now started finding, I'm seeing ourselves in a situation where students had already been initiated before getting admission. So somebody getting admission into school, but has already assumed a level in the hierarchy that is higher than some of the people already on campus. So they came in with some kind of a brutality that is different from what we used to know on campus. Because those on campus, they are some kind of level of restraint that they have. So these are the same people that they were now being used to go into different campuses to go and strike, to perpetrate. So over time, they started creating different chapters in different communities, and because of the need for numbers, they started bringing in people because they have money and because they can actually bring jobs, including political patronage to them, like those in the NURTW and RTEN and the rest. They started bringing them into campuses, into their group, because when election comes, they need people. So those people are closer to the politician. So they engage these people to help them to carry out all these nefarious activities during election. So that's how we started saying,
street courtesan.
Transporters, street urchins now getting involved, and over time they more or less took over the cult groups within the city because they already have followership. So those tenets that used to be followed while on campus no longer exist. The most important is that your willingness, they initiate you, they just give you things to drink, and then you are always there. Anytime they need to strike, they call you, everybody mobilized to go and attack. Now you cannot find any community in Lagos State as we speak today without a cult group. There is no major garage that you don't find cults, 2-3 cult groups, domiciling in those particular areas.
All right, Shay, that is based on your own findings, right? Now, what do we blame for this? Is this a lapses on the part of government?
I think the problem has to do with our inability to actually see into the future. You see, we need to start addressing things from the future, not for the future, not from here. We need to start looking at things and say, put ourselves in 10 years' time and say, okay, this is what Lagos State will be, or this Nigeria will be in 10 years' time. What are those challenges we'll be confronting in 10 years' time? So let us start solving 10 years' problem right from now. They say such warrants the direction of thought in those years. So they were just applying a fire brigade approach. We want to treat the wound. We want to treat the symptoms. We're not actually treating the ailments. So we allow things to escalate to this. And now, look at it now. The matter has become now dry-headed because we have a situations where the Yahoo groups now are already part of this. So you
mean cybercrime?
Yes, cybercrime, internet scam. It's not just internet scam anymore. Any longer. They now exist in groups with reflection of cultism. You hardly see anyone that is except someone that is just operating on his own, a loner. But they largely now exist in group. They have a coordinator who coordinates them, who's like their godfather in communities, and whichever cult group he belongs to, he initiates every one of them.
But how do we put an end to all of these? Because we have a government, and I'm sure that there are security agents everywhere. Security agencies, could we say that they're not being effective?
I think it will not be fair if we blame security agencies for all the problems we have. Let me tell you, security is everybody's business.
Security is everybody's business.
So we need all to be involved in this. At times, our approach towards things is we want to start applying some security measures, into curtailing things, but we've forgotten that security actually works. For you to have the state of security, there are a whole lot of human security factor that has to be put in place. Number one, how good is our health institutions, our health policy in this country? A girl like this, the solution to her case is not for her to be sent to prison. Solution to her case is psychiatric and psychological solution. Now we start seeing some symptoms of all these things while they are in school. How many schools, public schools, have counselors? When I mean counselors, I'm not just saying that a graduate of guidance and counselor. I'm saying that a graduate of guidance and counseling that has actually gone through professional training and certifications based on the educational program that government has structured to be able to produce people like that, to ensure. You see, I went to some schools, some missionary schools, and yes, I was alarmed. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention this. With what I saw, I went into Babcock and I saw the numbers of people, counselors, psychologists that they have. I was in Deeper Life High School. I saw that at each level they have counselors there. So now tell me, the counselor has no other business than to look at the behavior of those children, both academic, behavioral, and every other, and be able to say, oh, this children is beginning to child is beginning to show some signs. These are the approach. Some could be therapeutical, and some could be medical in terms of solution. So we need to. That's example one. That is health. We need to look at our education. How much emphasis have you placed on that? I'm a president of an alumni of a secondary school in this Lagos. As when I mean, I'm not myself, the whole school. I'm an alumni, and we on our own have tried to see what we can do to actually help. See, what I've discovered is that about 40% of children from high school, as in senior high school, have already been introduced to Yahoo Yahoo. Either they are either directly, involved in Yahoo Yahoo, or they're already moving.
For the benefit of those who don't understand what Yahoo Yahoo is.
Internet scam.
Thank you.
Yeah, or they're already moving with those that are already involved with internet scam, and they are seeing them as a role model. And that's why I see that this girl, she's a dropout. She left secondary school.
Exactly.
Now, you see, by the time you talk to this girl, you get to understand where our problem, be able to situate where our problem is. So many of those people, they have been talking to these people, and they're like trying to say, there's the one video that was trending. One small boy, they asked him, when you begin to you know that she has role models, people that she is seeing as role models. That is what the society can present to a child at that age. So we need to start showing those children in school people that can be the right role model, people that they can become like, not the one they see on social media, not the one they see that pull their trousers to below their buttocks and say because he's a superstar. That is what the society we are pushing as the norm. They need to begin to see that guy that had first class, the best result in Unilag, as a role model. We need to have a program where government can engage people like that. It's not just employing people. Come, let us make you a consultant. We use it within the educational system. You go to schools and start talking to children how they can become a first class. Let them see, get to know. Let them begin to see that there are other things better than what they're saying.
All right, I believe, and I want to say that our values are gradually eroding us as a nation. You talked about those who perpetrate internet fraud and all of that, and a lot of young people growing up, they are seeing them as role models. The question you ask yourself is, why wouldn't they see them as role models? Because even government, what kind of examples are we projecting out there? A lot of people have risen from the state of poverty to a wealthy state, and they did not acquire their wealth in a very, clean slate, so to say.
Let me help you with this.
Okay.
Poverty is as solid. You can feel it. Yeah, is that obvious that you can touch poverty? You can hear poverty speaking. People are poor. I pastor a church in a community, and I know what what I hear, in terms of talking to people, what I see in the environment, in the community. Poverty is monumental as we speak. And right now, people are ready to do anything now to come out of that poverty state when they see that their parents cannot even afford to feed them. Most of those children are just allowed to, you know, say what the parent can guarantee is just one meal
per day.
So they are left at the mercy of whoever can give them, can fill the gap for them.
They need to survive.
So they see a young boy, and maybe 5 years older than them within the community, and suddenly he's already driving, you know, maybe a 2010 brand of a car, and like he's, to them, wow, he's been able to pull himself out of those states. The only way I can pull myself out of the state, my father went to university, and the best it could be is a driver, or the best it could be is a clerk.
So why waste my time?
So why do I have to waste my time?
All right, so please, I'm going to hold you on now. I would like to take the short break, and after this break, it will be time for us to introduce I'm going to open up the phone lines for you to also make your contribution. What do you think is the root cause of why young people now go into cultism in Nigeria? Because we need to nip this in the bud, and this is about the time. So let's go on this short break, and we'll be right back on Solution to This.
Before they come, they're supposed to, you know, give us some information, notice, at least some, maybe a week or so. There was nothing like that.
Hunger is everywhere in Nigeria. People are dying every day, but the Nigeria government are keeping quiet. Herdsmen are killing people. Why? It's not what we expected because of these old men that are leading us, and you people know, you are aware that these people are not the right people to lead us. These kind of people that are leading us here are people of black mind. They just care about themselves and their family. You are fighting my village. Let me use if I call it useless, I'm not a mistake. The other place where they build a shop, call it Plaza. Say each shop there are 4 million naira, which I don't have the money, so I have to leave. If you plan to get a tribal mark, it takes a lot of pain, but after some time, you enjoy it. No, we experience hold up now. During the
before they come, they're supposed to, you know, give us some information, notice, at least some, maybe a week or so. There was nothing like that.
Hunger is everywhere in Nigeria. People are dying every day, but the Nigeria government are keeping quiet. Herdsmen are killing people. Why? It's not what we expected because of these old men that are leading us, and you people know, you are aware that these people are not the right people to lead us. These kind of people that are leading us here are people of black mind. They just care about themselves and their family. You are fighting my village. Let me use if I call it useless, I'm not a mistake. The other place where they build a shop, call it Plaza. Say each shop there are 4 million naira, which I don't have the money, so I have to leave. If you plan to get a tribal mark, it takes a lot of pain, but after some time, you enjoy it. No, we experience hold up now. During the construction time, then after some time, we start enjoying it. The way they are doing the construction is too slow. It's too slow. The construction is too slow. They should stop the construction and make sure people go into their businesses and do their businesses.
All right, welcome back from that break. You're still watching Super Eye on Super Screen YouTube 45. I was talking to my guest earlier, so I'll get back to you, Sheyi. Callers, you can now call to make your contribution on what you think is the root cause of cultism in Nigeria. So, Sheyi, we were talking about the solution.
Yes, so I was talking about the effect of poverty in all this. So, you see, for us to solve it, there are basic needs. You know, I made reference to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and that's the first, and which is the lowest level, which is the most important level, is meeting people's physiological need. I've seen quite a whole lot of people that they are living in, you know, uncompleted building, because they cannot even afford to even pay the house rent. Now, if food is out of the equation, there is saying in Yoruba that says that is share boucher. For the benefit of those who don't understand, is that when hunger is eliminated from poverty, then poverty has been reduced. Yeah. So we need to, government needs to now, start looking at the area of food security. Now the meaning of food security is making food available, good food, available and affordable. As in, government should be able to, the reason why food is high now, cost of food is high, because we have food insecurity.
Exactly.
And if you look at the problem we are having right now, will make the situation
worse,
to go bad within the next 12 calendar months. So even now, when they had opportunity of farming, the cost and prices of foods are so high. Let me tell you, if you live abroad, feeding is so cheap. Even though when you try to convert it for it, you might say it's a big money, but today it's not a big money. Because with as low as $50, they would go to grocery shops and stock the whole house, and they are fine. Now we need to be able to take care of that. If people can take care of that basic need of food, of affordable housing, now people, when government begin to speak about hope, people will be able to resonate with government in terms of, you see, because right now people are going into all these things because there is no hope. They've lost hope. We've not been able to create a hopeful situation for the people. You see, in those days, what they used to tell us then is that patience. When you are patient, that the patient cow the patient dog hit the fattest bone. I'm not sure that kind of adage works in this, because the mindset of children of this day, and you should understand, these people we are talking about, they forms in the group that we call the millennials, that is, and the generation that is after them too are going to be worse. And you see, those children live, they describe them as lazy, they don't want to work, but see, one striking thing there is that these people live in fake world. They live in the virtual world, not in the reality that we grew up in. All their life is on social media.
Exactly.
They don't really have understanding of what relationship, true relationship and friendship is.
Okay.
We grew up to understand that I need to see you, communicate with you one-on-one for me to know whether you are angry with me or you love me or not. But now when somebody click a like on the social media, to them it's acceptability.
Yeah.
Now when somebody do like this, it means that the whole world has gone against them, even though when the person does not even care whether you exist or not.
So we're not real these days.
So everything, see, they live all their life, and whatever government wants to do, government should not be able to take it to where they live, to their world, and be able to go to their world and let them understand that all what you're seeing inside this your world are not reality.
All right, yeah, let me quickly tell you, you talked about food security, because for me, really, I believe the root cause of people going to cultism and all of that is because of security, lack of money, also poverty. So I can remember growing up in even government schools those days. There's a way government provide food for all the students, you even have fruits and all of that then. But this does not obtain any longer. So how can government make the situation better? Because I can also remember that this present government promised that they will be providing food for students, but I think not all schools are getting that now. So what is the solution?
I don't know which government school you went to, but I remember that in my own primary school, there's this ayo. That's a plate we used to carry. We call it ayo. That was what we used to take to school in those days.
Okay.
And then we'll put money inside that plate, and they'll come and pack the plates, they will serve the food, we'll come back and take it. Yes, I grew up here in Lagos State. I went to Methodist Primary School, so I understand, but I could resonate with what you're saying. I remember that when I was maybe like in primary 1, 2, or 3, there were some materials that were being given that were provided then by the Jakonde Latif Jakonde government in terms of plasticine, pencils, rulers and all those stuff that were given to us then, and they were free. So we still met that, but we got to know that people before us actually enjoyed, better than we did. It seems that things are just continue to deteriorate, but we also need to understand this, that, at the time, government cannot, people cannot continue to live on a social program because of population explosion. Where we have not factored, population growth into all these things, and coupled with the enormous corruption that went into it, what is not even enough, was have been taken away, from people. So, feat we're supposed to achieve in 2-3 years is taking us 20-30 years to be able to get there, and that is leaving a whole lot of gap. So there are quite a whole lot of things that we need to cover, but most important thing is that the physiological need of the people, government should be able to work on that and be able to sustain, assure that. You see, hope is very important. When you give people reason to be hopeful, you can get them to live as a responsible citizen. The hope has been taken away. It's been taken away by some of the things that we see the politicians, we see some of the leaders do. Opulence, open display of wealth that cannot actually be defended. And we'll see the way their children are not even helping matters, because they try to push their children right in the face of the people whose wealth they have used to train that child. And people began to wonder now, when will I get to that level? So let's start from recruitment. Let's start from when we're employing. We make it as open that a common man, the man of a gate, the son of a gate man, the daughter of a cook, that is brilliant. Okay, so we'll be able to get the right job.
Okay, sure. Let me quickly take this call. Hello, Wale.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're welcome to Super Eye.
Yeah, and I want first of all commend you. I think I'm right.
All right. Yes, you're right.
There is something that is pointed out, and that is what struck me to make this call. The issue of food security. I think we really need to understand that. What we need to understand that a number of this country do not even want to go into farming at all. I grew up in a colonial, they offered me to plant to farm as a student in English, and that was what I did on throughout my time in secondary school.
Interesting.
Many people don't like it. The school entrusted me with 105 tons of palm tree. I was the one trimming it and all that. Now I'm in Lagos. I'm ready to go back into farm anytime I need. But the truth is this. There is no way we can achieve food security when people who are supposed to do the job are leaving their places in the villages and coming to the city to come and be security guards, outfits and all that. So it is not possible. So I think the best thing is to encourage the farmers, because God will not come and do farming for us. There is no way. The reality is that a doctor wants to buy a crop here for 50 naira. Multiply 50 naira times 1,000 rupees or tuber that the farmer will sell, and that's 50,000 naira, if I'm right. And that 50,000 naira cannot take care of the medical service that the wife of a farmer needs from the doctor. So you can see, the disparity, you can see the disparity in terms of income. So that is why if people need to buy at the price that the farmer wants to sell.
All right.
Otherwise, the doctor, the lawyer, and all those people, other people should reduce their services so that the farmer can also sell their own produce at the rate that can be affordable. So I think that, and finally, the issue of whether the government can assist, government can only assist in the area of basically they can buy and resell at cheaper rate. That is what I think is better.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, Wale, you didn't even tell us what you think is the root cause of cultism, reason for which you didn't tell us the reason you think. Okay, Wale's gone. All right, thank you very much for your contribution. All right, what do you think?
He made valid points.
Yes.
I'm a farmer. I also
You're
have
a farmer too?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I have a farm in Ogun State.
Wonderful.
And, I have a plantain plantation.
Wonderful.
That I run, and because I love to farm.
Okay.
I didn't grow up in the village, But I remember anytime I travel home, I go with my grandmother to the farm. And so I have a first-hand experience of what they go through. And I want to make sure that, you see, when government is saying that everybody should also try to return to farm, let me also make my own contribution to that. At least my own little farm will contribute to the supply chain of food in the states. But the truth is that there are challenges that farmers are facing. Inadequate rain is a major problem, and yields, is also important. And
so how do you
ability
think
to be able to
government can encourage farmers? Like he pointed out that government needs to encourage farmers. So
I want to speak from the angle of the area that we're discussing now.
Okay.
You see, there are a lot of people that are moving into town, into the urban area, township, because the things they see in the towns are not right there in the village.
Okay.
I had time to travel around the countryside of United States. I've done the same thing in Ireland. I went to a place called Castleblayney and the rest in the Republic of Ireland. And these are rural areas. And everything you can point at except the skyscrapers of these walls, they are there. So they have access to everything they need. They live a communal system where, there's everything that they need, and they make sure that all those things are being sustained. And in Germany, I've traveled around some, communities, and I saw farms. You see, if you go from the area of Friedrichshafen, Ravensburg, down to Home and other places, you'll see the way farms are being laid out. And you begin to wonder, for Christ's sake, can't we have something like, what does it take for us to have, for us to provide incentive, for us to provide, incentive comes not only in terms of grants, but also, in so many ways for us to be able to have this. When we have this, the population migration into town will be reduced.
All right, so I'll hold you on. Shekere is calling from Mile Estate. Hello, Shekere. You're welcome to Super Eye.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. You're welcome to Super Eye. Let's have your contribution.
Yeah, I want to say well done to your guest, because he has said what I want to say already. But I just wanted to make the contribution to it. You see, there's no smoke without fire.
Okay.
If this leaders will have lead by example, for real, the young kids will not have reason to go into all kind of social crisis. They still can live the life. You see politicians going away with 60 billion, one senator has 40 billion. These politicians are the ones who empower these offices and whatever they call them. And so what are we talking about? The problem is the top, not the bottom. Let the leadership sit back and do what is out. I believe we're getting somewhere to start that way. Thank you very much.
All right, many thanks, Shekere, for calling.
Okay, if I may speak into that, I think, he made a valid point, but at times, you see, we get some things wrong.
But that's still an allegation, saying that politicians
Exactly. We get some things wrong. You see, I don't have issues with the remunerations of the legislators, because I think that is where, you see, if they are well remunerated, enough to motivate them to work and not to steal,
okay,
so be it. Let's give them what can make them to work without stealing. But we fail to understand, because a whole lot of politics has actually gone into that. Okay. I've had time to be able to study what it takes for a legislator to be able to operate. They need to work with consultants. You know what it takes for them to prepare bills and the rest. Though many of them pocket this money, they are supposed to actually employ, professionals. When I mean professional, eggheads.
Knowledge.
Good lawyers, good accountants, depending on which committee they are, sitting. For those who are on health, you need to, get those that are very good in, health management and the rest to work with you, and then you need to pay them. Some of all those investigations they do oversight come at a cost. All this money are supposed to take care of this. I'm not speaking for any legislator. I'm speaking based on the experience. I have worked in government. I have served. I worked directly with the president. So I understand what it takes for somebody to be in government. I never participated from that money. So it's not because I enjoy from it.
Sorry, I'll hold you on that thought. Funmilayo is calling from Shomolu. You're welcome to Super Eye, Funmilayo. Hello, Funmilayo. Hello, Fumi. Are you still there? Okay, I think we lost Fumi.
So let's hold them accountable for service delivery. You are being paid. Okay, this money has been agreed, Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Allocation Committee. I've signed this for you people. Okay, fine. You must deliver. You must spend the number of time you are required to sit in that National Assembly. You should not only just come there to come and sleep. What did you spend your night doing? If you're going to come there to come and sleep, why didn't you just excuse yourself so that you don't make the children to be watching and say, okay, this is what legislators represent. People who come to the chamber to come and sleep. So let's begin to hold our leaders accountable based on what what is expected of them to do, not based on their remuneration. Now, and let us also hold them responsible as well when it comes into fiscal responsibility. For those who have responsibility in managing the funds, are they being spent on what is supposed to be spent on? And one mistake that we make is that even money spent within the executive, when I mean the executive, I'm not talking about presidency, I mean those within the executive structures in terms of the various ministries and the rest, and even much more than what the legislator. So when you focus on one particular area, you are not going to solve the problem. We need to look at government holistically and say, how much is the cost of governance? Don't try to cover your own area and try to blacklist or make people to hate the legislator. Let us also look at what is happening within your own sector. What is the cost of governance? What is the service delivery? Have you been able to develop the template within which parameters within which we can use to measure performance and say this ministry, the service delivery was at this level before you came in.
There.
Now you got there, the service delivery is here. What is it that you are doing wrong? Is there things that you can put in place that you can, okay, let's give you a grace period of someone seeing improvement. If you don't see the improvement, we ask you to step aside. Let somebody else that can make contribution come in and then bring it value.
All right. Well, I'm sure because of politics, a lot of things they will be unable to do it, because if you understand the politics being played in the country, you know that is about sometimes how weighty you are and who you know. Now let's leave that. That's on the part of government. Don't forget that what we're talking about is still the 20-year-old Miriam, who confessed to being a professional assassin and has so far killed 4. Now I'm worried. We've talked about the aspect of government. What about the parent? What should be the role of parents? Because I feel that every problem that society is going through today starts from the family, from mother, father, the kind of values you inculcate to children, and all of that is what will make them either good ambassador or somebody worse in life. So what do you think should be the role of parents? Because till now, we've not even heard that Miriam's family or parents are looking for her.
You see, there are hundreds of thousands of Miriams.
Thank you.
In Lagos State, in Ogun State, in the southwest part of Nigeria, and I'm saying that with all, you know, I mean, saying that deliberately. Southwest. You see, we looked at the Amajiri system in the north, and we're focusing on the Amajiri system. I feel that that is where the decadence, irresponsibility from the parent lies. We have our own Amajiri system. Amajiri situation in the southwest, and that example of that is Miriam that we're seeing. A lot of parents have abandoned their abdicated their responsibilities over their children. They are leaving it for the schools, for the teachers, to help them to instill values in their children. You know, there was an incident where, you know, a case, it was on the media a little while ago, and from the information I got, I think the problem actually came from the parent. A situation whereby the parent pay little attention, leaves their daughter in the hand of the sister, and then the sister or aunties, and that one is busy watching X-rated movies, and the girl that was asleep woke up as at the time that the sister is already asleep, and the girl, a 2-year-old or 3-year-old, watching an X-rated, you know, real X-rated. And so you see, the brain of that child will have been what will have been, you know, modified negatively growing up. She'll begin to imagine and begin to see things, begin to see things differently from the way people are seeing it, because she has been exposed to what she should not know about at that age. And tell me, that child will grow up to become something else. A whole lot of children have been abused by their own parents sexually, been abused, assaulted physically, assaulted verbally. They have lost their self-esteem. They've lost, identification of self. They don't even know who they are. And what they believe they are is what the parent made them to think that they are, which are the negative things they see.
So
the picture of parenthood they see is the father beating up the mother,
violence
in the home, fighting, a neighborhood where the norm is for cutlasses to be wielded around and everybody, open up bottles, smoking and the rest. What do you expect from a child that grew up in a house where the backyard is where guys, assembles to smoke marijuana? That child will grow up to believe that that is the norm. So we have that situation, and you see, the family is the the unit is a unit of the society.
Yes.
And if the values are lost from the family, the value is lost forever. And a child that the family did not bring well will not bring up well, will not grow up to become a responsible adult. And that's why what is that? That is the reflection in the leadership that we're seeing. You see, all those people will say they grew up from a home, a family. What their upbringing, the way they have been modified, the way they have been molded, is what we are seeing when they become leaders. When a leader does not care to kill people to assume a political position, that will tell you that that kind of a leader must have grown up in the family where survival is by Genesis chapter 27 verse 40. When Isaac told Esau that by that sword you shall live. When he asked his father, don't you have any more blessing for me? He said, by that sword. So many of them grew up in that house where the only thing they got from their father is that by thy sword
I shall finish
thou shalt live. So they grew up believing that they have to kill, they have to destroy other people for them to get to the level that they aspire to reach.
All right, Shay, time is running out. However, I am more concerned about a society and now for us to have a better state. For young ones out there, whom of course have seen a Miriam, 20-year-old, confessing to a crime, only God knows what her fate will be. What would be your advice to young people out there and their parents?
Well, let me start with the parents. What your child will be in the next 20 years is a reflection of who you are today. If you're a responsible parent today, then you have a greater chance that your child will become responsible. So what you want them to be is the life that you should start living now. Show them the right kind of example, show them the right kind of leadership, speak the right words to them, introduce them to the right kind of environment and people, and help them to build their confidence, help them to discover who they are and what they should be, help them to mold their future. And for the young ones, your destiny is in your hands. If you destroy it, you are going to face the consequence of what you've done. So you are not going to have a government to blame. You are not going to have your parents to blame. You are going to have a society to blame, because all you can do is to speak to the camera and say they did not train you well, but you are still going to face the consequences of your action. So your parent will not come and stand in your place. So we need to take responsibility from today. And I like used to say, what is for everybody is for nobody. What is not for nobody? So we must take responsibility and take ownership.
All right, on that basis, I want to say a very big thank you to you, Sheyi. It's been a wonderful time having this discussion with you. All right, my viewers at home, I've been speaking with Sheyi Adetayo. He is the chairman of American Security for Industrial Security Assets in Lagos State. Yes, this is my advice to young people out there. And it goes thus: you have to realize that the decision of today is the result of tomorrow. And as such, you have to strive to ensure that you have a better tomorrow. How do you do that? I know that there are peer pressure, you understand. But do not allow those that are bad eggs to influence you. Because if you allow them to influence you negatively, you will have yourself to blame at the end of the day. So in order for you not to bite your fingers tomorrow, I think it is high time that you take the bull by the horn by ensuring that you prepare for a better future. Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say many thanks for watching Super Eye. Remember to join us same time next week as we bring another beautiful edition your way. As always, I'm Adenike Owoye Ajiboye, your host, always on the program. So it's bye for now.